In this video, I'm going to cover the top 5 questions that you had last week. If you're new to this channel, my name is George McConnell, and I made over $1 million on Etsy last year. This is the first episode. Now, I know that there are a lot other questions that were asked. I promise to cover them. I'm going to try to shoot at least one of these either every week or every other week. I'm trying to get as many videos out as I can. I'm still new to this, still new to talking to the camera, and still new to editing. So I know some of my transitions are a little crazy, but let's jump right into this. Question number 1 is, why do I suggest only starting off with one niche? And that's very simple. As a new seller, you're still getting used to certain things on Etsy. You're still learning Etsy, and you're still trying to understand, how SEO works, how to write your tags, how to write your titles, what to put in the description. And the biggest thing is, what is your demographic? When people are shopping on Etsy and they see a store, they'll see a listing because they don't actually just see your store right from the get-go. They click on that listing, and then if they're interested in seeing more of the items, they'll click on your store. Now, if they're not seeing similar items to the one that they, initially clicked on, they get very confused. And in certain cases, from what I've seen, is so many new stores have so many different items that consumer's probably getting overwhelmed. So, for instance, say if they click on a coffee mug, they want to see more coffee mugs, obviously. That's why they clicked on your store. Now, all of a sudden, they're being greeted with sweatshirts, t-shirts, puzzles, all these different various things that aren't coffee mugs. And then what happens? They leave. So it's very important to understand your consumer. And if you're trying to target that one demographic, stay with that demographic for the time being. Then once you get a handle of that consumer and start selling more and more items, then yes, you can expand. But you don't want to scare off those initial customers right from the start. And you also don't need to target every single demographic, because the person that's 18 to 25, they're not shopping for the same thing that a 35 to 40-year-old is shopping for. So you have to take that into consideration. Who are you trying to target? And who are you going after? So that's why it's very important to just start off with that one niche. You need a really basic understanding on how these consumers shop and who you're targeting and who you're going after. Once you get a grip on that, expand and go from there. Question number 2 is customer service. A lot of people ask me how I respond to customers. And this next thing, I don't want a lot of people to take it the wrong way. I don't want you to step back and go, excuse me, what? But I'm not going to argue with a customer. I have well over 30,000 reviews in my one store. I do not argue with customers. I just say, you're right, I'm wrong. It's a very big thing about taking your pride and your ego out of it. And sure, if you want to go rant to your spouse, rant to your friends. Don't rant online. Don't reply to a customer in anger, and don't write negative things about that consumer. Because you have to remember, everybody going to your store is going to see your reply. So I'll give you a couple examples. One of the biggest complaints that you're going to see in any sort of negative review is probably, shipping time, shipping speed. Something of that order. And the reason being is because so many consumers right now are so used to getting a product within a day or two. And, thanks a lot, Amazon, to that. But that's just a new normal now. And in that case, a lot of the times, your first thing is, hey, did you not read the processing time? Hey, I'm not USPS and I can't handle this. And, I'm not hand delivering it. Trust me, I understand what you want to say. Just don't say that. Okay? You reply back and say, I am sorry for the inconvenience. I will make sure to work with USPS to make sure that these items are delivered in a timely fashion. Thank you for your feedback. Another example, and this one is huge for me, is measurements. People don't read the descriptions. A lot of them do, but the ones that leave the negative reviews usually don't. And they'll write something back like, "This isn't the size I expected," or "This isn't correct." In that case, how you respond to that is very simple. Once again, you start off by saying, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience." And then you say, "I have it listed, I have the size listed in this spot, this spot, this spot. I know that that may have been overlooked and I apologize. If you have any feedback that you can provide on how I can try to present that in a better way, please let me know." That's it. Then from there, it's showing that you're apologizing for something that you really shouldn't, and also that they didn't read all these different, spots on where it is, and you're also asking them for feedback. So when another customer and potential consumer comes there, they'll see that and they'll be like, "Oh, okay." Maybe they'll read the description, but usually they're just going to look at it and go, "Okay, that was a nice reply. Like, I know that this is a good company." Now, like I said in the beginning, a lot of people are not going to agree with this. I understand, okay? I worked in customer service for a long time. I understand. I've seen millions of complaints, okay? The biggest thing is, they always say the consumer's always right. You and I both know the consumer's not always right. But online, when so many people can see your response, do not point that out. Just ignore it. Just don't care about your pride, ego right there. Rant to somebody else. Don't rant online. Question number 3 is, how do you build an email list for your Etsy customers? Etsy considers every customer that comes through Etsy their customer. So they don't allow you to take their email addresses and email that customer directly unless they opt in for emails. Now I'm going to show you where you can put, a little sign up for that. But you have to make sure that these consumers opt into receiving emails, because if they don't and they report you to Etsy, it goes against their Etsy policy. So the best way to have a customer sign up for email marketing is, first you need a platform like MailChimp or something similar to be able to send out emails. They will provide you with a link that as soon as a consumer clicks on that link, they can sign up with their email. You can also ask for information like their name, birthday, and all that, but just asking for their name and email is probably the simplest thing. From there, you need to put that link somewhere. So inside your Etsy store, you go to settings and then info and appearance. Underneath shop announcements, you'll see message to buyers. Every time a consumer purchases from you, they receive a receipt in their email. At the bottom of that receipt, they will have whatever you put here. So in here, you can put, hey, sign up for emails, or hey, do you want some email marketing? You want deals? You want some exclusive, something like that. Okay. Whatever you want to put in there, that's where you have your link so that they click on it and they sign up. That's getting them to opt in. Same thing with message to buyers for digital items. You can explain, hey, this is a digital item, download it here. This is what you do. Underneath that, do you want to sign up for some email marketing? Do you want to sign up for exclusive deals? Things like that. And put that link so that they could sign up. Now, once you have their email, you can send them exclusive deals. One thing I want to point out is, do not say in any sort of email directing them to Etsy saying, hey, if you leave me a review for your recent purchase, I will give you XYZ. Do not do that. According to Etsy's policy, that is bribery and that is forbidden on their platform. So just do not write an email saying you're going to give them something in exchange for a review. Question number 4 was how to add variations to your listings. So let's just jump right into that. I'm going to open up Etsy right now. Okay, here's the variations tab. Now, I just want to show you something really quick. I didn't add anything here, but I did add these 3 photos. So down here, the first thing you have to do is, select your category. So let's just say necklaces, right? And you want to choose which one you want, but we're just going to choose that. Now, as soon as you choose your category, you have this thing over here called Add Variations. Now, when you click there, They have ones that are particular already set that people have used for that category. You can add your own, so you can add whatever you want there. But if you don't want that, then you can add something that somebody else had. So in this case, we don't have a gemstone, primary color, secondary, pendant width. We don't have any of that. We just have letters, right? So we're going to do a uh, letter. And this right here, link photos to this variation. Nobody does that. I mean, it's very rare that I ever see a store that has linked photos. And I think that this is very important. So make sure you click that. Then from there, you want to add your options. So we're going to add A, and then we're going to add B, and we're going to add C, and, all the way down the alphabet. Now you select your photo. I want A to pop up. I want B to pop up, and I want C to pop up. What this does is when a consumer goes to the drop down and they select A, B, or C, that photo will then appear of what they've selected, which is very good because, in most cases, you want to double check and make sure that they are choosing the correct drop down option. So you click done, and your price may vary, your quantities may vary, and it's always good to have a different SKU for each and every single one, especially if you're shipping things. You want to know what's selling, what's not. Putting that in Excel is very easy that way. So you click apply, and here you go. You put your SKU, your price, your quantity. After you're all done with everything else, publish it, you're good to go. Now, one thing to note is that you can't have, different shipments for the different variations. Um, a lot of people ask that question because they'll have, say, a digital item and a physical item, and they want to be able to sell the digital item and then sell the physical item. You should just make them two separate listings, and inside your description say, hey, do you want the physical or do you want the digital? And that will be the best bet because there's no way to differentiate right now on Etsy on which items get shipped, which items don't, if you can upgrade shipping on one particular one but not another one, so on. So just, if you run into that, just make two separate listings, and inside the description point them to each other. Question 5 is, what items did I sell to make $1 million? Now, I own multiple stores, but this particular store is what made me that $1.2 million, and it's selling craft supplies. Now, I started that store a couple of years ago, and I started with $100. Started in my living room. I was single at the time, so I could do that. And I literally took that $100, bought products, and posted it online. Each time I sold products and I got money in, I invested it in more. And since I worked a 9 to 5 job, the only time to actually drop the shipments off at USPS was during my lunch break. So I didn't have any lunch. I legit would take the packages during my lunch, drive all the way to USPS, drop them off, and drive all the way back. Literally took me an hour, lost my lunch break. But I started in my living room and I expanded it to multiple warehouses within as little as like a year and a half. I expanded it very quickly and I scaled it very quickly, which allowed me to pretty much dominate the market. The big thing though with that is that there is a lot of costs behind it, and I had to learn as I grew all these costs. So as I said in one of my other videos with POD, is using a 3PL. For this particular business, I actually moved all of my supplies to a 3PL, which does save me thousands of dollars each and every single month because I no longer have the cost of that warehouse. And nobody really tells you how much a warehouse is, but it's really expensive. So I hope that that clears up a couple questions about that. I do own other businesses. I do have a POD and a digital business. However, those don't make as much as this particular business. This is the one that made me $1 million. If you combine the other 3 stores, I made a lot more than that. But, knowing each and every single one of these different categories and growing is my expertise. And it took me time to learn that. And that's where my, knowledge comes from, is understanding how consumers shop and building from there. Thank you for joining me on episode 1 for Your Questions Answered. Like I said in the beginning, I do plan on, releasing one of these every week or every 2 weeks. Just depends on how fast I can crank these out for you guys. Just continue leaving comments below and asking me those questions. I do answer you if it's easy to answer, and if it's not, I'll create a video for you. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.